Today I want to talk about how the alpha male US president would be and how Donald Trump has a unique effect of making any male that chooses to support him or work with him into a beta simp. And I've never seen anything quite like it, but I always see like people are like, oh, I'm an alpha male. So I'm always curious, like presidents, who would I consider these alpha males? So with that mindset, your job, number one, as a president would be to get reelected. And we're gonna take off any president that has not gotten a second term, starting from 1980 till now. So let's focus on the first alpha male president of the modern era, according to my definition, with Ronald Reagan. Okay, so regardless as to my feelings about Ronald Reagan, he was very weird, just objectively. He brought in evangelical Christians into politics like heavy, which, you know, I thought that party was all about separation church and state, our founding fathers. Mr. Reagan was like, nah. Also his wife, Miss Nancy, adore her. She was really into horoscopes, which made him really into horoscopes, and he used that in how he made decisions.
She would ask me, for instance, what are the best times for the president to do this or that? And I would say this time would be dangerous, or the outcome would be bad. And then I would just really pick the times that they did things.
But that really defined Reagan. He was charismatic, he had the actor appeal, he really made people believe in trickle-down economics. Fascinating. War on drugs was like a legitimate thing with Reagan, and people believed it. So regardless to how I feel about him personally, he made men, his male supporters, feel good. They thought that they were moving towards, they're making money, they're feeling great, never disrespected them overtly. So we'll make Reagan an alpha male president who made males feel good. Next, we're gonna go to Clinton. We like to affectionately call Slick Willy the neighborhood pervert. He's one of two like notorious perverts on this list. Our guy from Arkansas was charismatic. He had the appeal of making people from the South feel like, oh, he's simple just like me. He doesn't overcomplicate things. He made Black people feel like, oh, it's our first Black president. He plays the saxophone on Arsenio Hall. And then he also made intellectuals feel like, oh, this guy actually can read and string a few sentences together. He seems pretty smart. And he did all of that while having an international affair that caused him almost to, or I think he was impeached, but he still remained in office. So this is a guy that made men like him feel good and think like, I have affairs. I'm a bit of a perv. I'm just like Mr. President.
I want you to listen to me. I'm gonna say this again. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, not a single time, never. These allegations are false.
Next, I really want to talk about George W. Bush. Easily my favorite president autobiography to read. He represents like the good old boys club where you can make mistakes, you can have addictions, you're a part of elite status where it does not matter how smart you are, does not matter how hard you work, you will still land into success. You just gotta love that type of American story of your dad's president and then you literally stumble into a presidency where you easily had probably one of the most powerful vice presidents we've ever had in Cheney.
On a happier note, I believe you're looking at the next vice president of the United States.
He always showed up. He was at the peak of where the media was anti-war, anti-Bush, anti-all these things, and he still got reelected, had his simple ways, and just made people feel like, oh, he's just like me, not that bright. But still, I can succeed if Bush can.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the President of the United States.
I enjoy what Bush brought, and he, even though people catastrophically failed, a lot of people in his cabinet, horrible information, everyone around him, all his males that he had supporting him, he actually looked worse than they did. So you can argue he was an alpha male president, but he elevated men higher than him, which is probably the only president on this list. So he was a special alpha male president. Next, we're just going into Mr. Obama, and he is kind of an easy one to put on the list. Regardless to how I feel, he's like a mixture of if you have Steve Urkel and Stefan, where he's a nerd, but he's still smooth. He's a smooth operator. And even though you'll never be as cool as him and you'll never be quite as smart as him, when you're around him, regardless of party, you're a little bit elevated. He just makes you a little bit cooler. And it showed on the Democratic ticket. Whenever his name was there, it was great. When it was not, it was horrible. His name got results for everyone involved. And now this is what we're all about. We're leading into what this whole video and why I was like having sleepless nights about what makes Trump's presidency so unique and how he really makes men who support him into little beta simps. I think to be a president, you just have to be already have an extreme level of narcissism, but Trump's, it just oozes through his pores where it's part of his personality. It's who he is first. Mr. Trump, regardless of what you want to say about him, he is someone that truly believes in himself. And you don't have to be qualified, you don't have to work hard. This is what he teaches our next generation. Just believe that you deserve and you're entitled to everything.
I am the chosen one. Somebody had to do it.
That is the mentality he has. And people feel like, oh my gosh, if this happened for him, if his dad would handed him money, it is magnificent how he's conned his way into America's hearts. Nothing that goes on that's bad is his fault, and everything that happens that is good is all because he was breathing. It doesn't matter because he runs his presidency like a mob boss. He's the Teflon Don. But there's only one person on the planet that he actually has kinship for and treats with a level of where he extension of himself. And it's not all his children, it's only one. It's Ivanka. She's the only one that he sees as an extension of himself, even if she is not completely and blindly loyal to him in ways that all his other children are.
I've said that if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. You know.
And his young boys, you would think this alpha male would support other alpha males like him, right? His sons? No, he doesn't care about them. He treats them like, oh, they're here, they're breathing. Yeah, they're fine, but they're beneath me. And you have to remember that with Trump. Everyone around him is always a peasant. And we can go through the list. I just want to go name off some people that thought that they were special and thought that they could like outsmart him or just get him to be like, hey Trump, pick me. And he's like, okay, I'll take your money, I'll use you for what I need, and then I'll throw you away. I will hurt your feelings, and I might even call your wife a dog, or I might even steal your girl. So we'll just go through the list. Ted Cruz, infamously, like they were rivals, and this is normal in the political world. You go against your rival, and then you support them once you lose. Except when this man calls your wife a dog.
Donald, you're a sniveling coward, and leave Heidi the hell alone.
It's so embarrassing that even your child like is looking at you like, really, Dad? Like, come on, let's just have a little bit of integrity. Don't care. Elon Musk, richest man in the world. He thought that he could, you know, get bumbly old Trump to do what he says and get all his tech to take over the White House. Nah, Trump was like, no, I'll use your money. I'll let you help me win the election, and then you will be dismantled and thrown away and cast aside and humiliated, just like everyone else. Elon must really have a lot of dirt on him because Trump actually has been nice to him. He's only just not done, you know, what he said he was gonna do, which he does that to everyone. I've never seen anything actually quite like it. At the end of the day, if you wanna be a man, another alpha male standing next to him and thinking like, hey, I could work with you, you're gonna end up like Mike Pence and your career will be over. What we have with the men who worship him is supporters, which they're not even a real political party. It's like it's a cult. It's legitimately a cult. It's not a real political party. But his incels, his online warriors, like they worship the ground he walks on.
I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and I wouldn't lose any voters, okay?
He makes them into a BDSM relationship where he's the dom, and he makes his supporters, they're not just subs, they're masochists, they're degradees, they're little brats, and he likes to tame them. He's their brat tamer. It is the wildest thing I've ever seen in politics. Like, it's the wildest thing I've seen in pop culture. Not even politics, just pop culture. It's to the point where Trump's supporters should just call him daddy. It's not even, they're not Trumpers, they're not supporters, they're just subs, and he's Dom. So in conclusion, I hope you've learned, like, all of our alpha male presidents, regardless of how you feel, which line of the political spectrum, they're all pretty weird, a little bit creepy. Like, right now, we have to admit that the strangest dynamic is going on. That when people were voting, they were not just voting for a president, they were voting for a Dom. And though we're all co-opted into this pseudo BDSM relationship, we did not give consent the way they have, but we have to live with it. So I hope everyone is coping the best that they can.